Stat merchants have absolutely ruined football and may be the worst group of people on the internet. They fail to watch a sport with their eyes and instead resort to using SofaScore to watch the matches for them. Everywhere you turn on the football side of the internet, stat merchants are throwing out the craziest numbers that don't even make sense and are basically irrelevant. In this video, I will share a few examples of why I mostly dislike the way that stats are used in football discourse. I'm not someone who judges the game solely based on stats, but I do think in certain contexts, using stats can be useful and can back up what you are seeing with your eyes. The first reason I dislike stats is because they are used to praise players who are complete shite at football. A player can score a couple goals, and then the internet acts like they are the next big superstar even though they can't complete a 10-yard pass consistently. A recent example of this is Miguel Almiron. If you've been watching me for a while, you will know that I can't stand him as a player. Since he joined the Premier League several seasons ago, I've always looked at him as one of the worst players I've ever watched. But then, all of a sudden, he was starting to get Team of the Season shouts during last season. He was putting in average performances, but he was able to score 9 goals in a couple months, and he was the new big thing on the internet for a while. He was being viewed as one of the best wingers in the league just because he scored a few goals. But everyone failed to realize that he has no footballing ability because they were blinded by his numbers. Another recent example of this is actually Andre Onana, a goalkeeper. In my opinion, Onana is the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. So it was really surprising to me when I saw many people online talk about how great Onana has been this season. They started pulling up his stats and trying to trick everyone into thinking he was actually good. And by they, I mean Manchester United fans. I saw this tweet back in March that said that Onana has the highest save percentage and the second most clean sheets in the league at the time. Quick question, when have we ever judged goalkeepers based on stats? Using a stat like save success is disingenuous because we have no idea what his saves looked like. A lot of them are probably shots right at him that are easy to catch and save. This stat leaves out a lot of context because United fans are trying to cope with the fact that they signed a poor keeper. Also, using clean sheets to praise a goalkeeper is not always fair because clean sheets don't only represent the goalkeeper, they represent the whole team defensively. For example, De Gea had the most clean sheets in the Premier League last season, but we all know he wasn't the best goalkeeper. When analyzing goalkeepers, it's much easier to actually watch them play and look at the shots they save, their positioning, how they are with the ball at their feet, how well they dominate their penalty area, and the goals that they concede. You don't need stats to show you how good a goalkeeper is. Emi Martinez has conceded a lot of goals this season, but in my opinion, he's been the best goalkeeper in the league because he is a massive game changer with the shots he saves, and the majority of goals he concedes are not easily savable. Onana has poor positioning, poor footwork, he's poor at claiming crosses, makes many aimless passes, and is a bad shot stopper. I came to these conclusions by watching him play. He has cost United so many points this season because he can't save anything. Another way that people use stats in a strange way is when they try to compare players that really shouldn't be compared. Football fans have a massive issue with separating the position a player plays from the role that a player takes up. For example, last season everyone was going crazy about Marcus Rashford. Rashford was getting Ballon d'Or shouts and he was getting called the best player in the world. For Manchester United, Rashford played left wing, but he took up the goal scorer role. He was really their only goal-scoring threat because Garnacho, Weghorst, Antony, Martial, and Sancho were definitely not capable. Because he was the goal scorer, it didn't matter that he was a winger. He was always going to have the most goals. So it was strange to me how his stats would always be compared to the stats of other left wingers in the Premier League. The other wingers obviously had less goal contributions because most of them are not players that were really meant to rack up an insane amount of goals. Rashford and Grealish were always compared, and people were trying to show how great Rashford was compared to Grealish based on numbers. If you are expecting a City winger now to score that many goals, you have lost your mind, especially Grealish, a player that is an attacking midfielder playing on the wing with absolutely zero finishing ability. Also, Man City have Erling Haaland to score the goals. Grealish doesn't need to. However, Rashford is all that United had last season. People constantly do the same thing with Eden Hazard and Mohamed Salah. This is one of the biggest debates in football for no reason. They take up completely different roles for their team, so comparing how many goals they each have is almost pointless. Next, I want to talk about how people use match stats to talk about how well a team played. Most fans look at the match stats and decide who played better based on how much possession each team had and how many shots they each took. However, looking at the match stats this way leaves out all context. If you didn't watch the match, you don't know the quality of those shots. A lot of those shots may have been low goal scoring chances. Also, determining who played better based on possession stats doesn't factor in the play style of the teams. For example, the Brighton versus West Ham match early in the season sparked a lot of idiotic comments all across social media. Brighton lost the match 3-1 despite having 78% of the ball and 25 shots compared to West Ham's 12. All over social media, I saw people talking about how Brighton deserved to win the match because they had more possession and shots. Who cares if they had more possession and shots? They are a possession-based team. Brighton wanted to keep the ball more than their opponents, but they failed to take their opportunities. However, West Ham in that match just sat back and counterattacked and took their chances on transition. People were trying to create this narrative that West Ham were completely dominated when in reality they executed their game plan to perfection and won the match fairly. And finally, I can't stand the use of GA, goals and assists combined. Everyone probably sees this all over the place. Everyone uses this to praise players and show how many goals players are contributing to. However, this stat is often misleading. A Twitter user explained it well. GA is used for attackers who aren't actually scoring enough goals, and those goal contributions that people are praising are often not spread out throughout many games. The players often contribute to a few goals in one game and then ghost for the next 5. A great example of this is Jeremy Doku. Doku is of course not a striker, and I think Doku is a good talent, but he has not had that great of a season. After his first 8 appearances in the Premier League, I remember people saying Doku has 7 GA in 8 games, he's so incredible. This stat is not wrong, however, 5 of those goal contributions came in one match. And of course, 5 goal contributions in one match is impressive, but it is 100% better to be able to spread those goal contributions across many games, not just a few. Currently, he has 10 GA in 27 matches, which isn't too bad, obviously, but he's only contributed to goals in 5 of those 27 matches. Another example is Darwin Núñez. Núñez has 19 goal contributions in the Prem this season, but of those 19, only 11 are goals. Liverpool fans use GA to praise him because he has failed to score many goals. So they try to cope with the fact that he is incapable of putting the ball in the net by adding on his assists to make him look a lot better than he actually is. That'll be the end of the video. Please put your thoughts down below in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.